Well, good Saturday morning, everyone, and greetings once again from Radio Wasteland Records here in Midland. And it is a cold one, mid-January day, starting us off, and it's going to get colder. Yep, we had some snow. It's melted, it's refreezing, and I think we're going to really get that cold snap that's going to affect most of the country kicking in on us later tonight. I was just outside tossing some salt down. It's already a little chilly out there as we speak. So, hey, I hope otherwise your Saturday is off to a great start, and we're kind of getting back up and normal here at the store, back up to speed after our week off and our first week back. Late shipment, yeah, we had that this week. Cover a few things coming in. But again, we're getting back up to speed as I think most everything else is. So let's see here and say some good mornings to you folks kicking in out there. Let's see. Jennifer, good morning to you in before the guidelines telling us. Thanks for being here. Betty from Toledo saying good morning. Dan, good morning as well. Thank you very much, sir. Good to be back. Fred over on the west side, Grand Rapids, checking in. Good morning, as is Gary saying good morning to you, sir. Chuck, good morning as well. And Chuck, that I think I mentioned the page stuff has been delayed. We'll get back to you on that here shortly. Thomas from Sweden checking in. Hey, sir. Thank you very much from tuning in way over on that side. Let's see. Ryan, hey, as well as Paul saying welcome back. Thank you. Yeah. Gary saying a guy from the deep north saying it's cold. You know what? I think I've been down here longer than I was up in the UP by now. Although I do get up there often, I still like to consider that the place to be. But yeah, it's going to be a little chilly. Either that or maybe I'm just getting a little older and softer as we age, aren't we all? You know what? I don't have a heck of a lot to talk about this morning. We'll cover the new releases coming in here in just a couple of moments. Talk about a collectible as well, but just it's kind of that midwinter holding pattern. They announced the Data Record Store Day, I think, as I mentioned last week. If I've not, or I didn't, it is on April 12th this year. I'd have to think back when they announced that. But yeah, that's a week early. I know we talked about it on the podcast, but we'll kind of keep up on that. First off, let's start with a thank you to an anonymous so-and-so, somebody here at the store. Things were a little busy, being, again, our first week back. I think, as I mentioned, a lot of you were suffering from withdrawals in the vinyl, as was I. So yesterday, the Friday here at the store was a little busy. We were hopping from the vinyl drop on at the opening all the way through most of the day. Until later in the afternoon, I had a customer stop in and said, hey, there's an envelope leaning up against the door, our little entryway there, the foyer and the entryway. So not outside, but leaning up actually on the wall and the floor right next to the door. There was an envelope that said this, and somebody just kind of dropped that and ran instead of bringing it in. They wanted to remain anonymous. Let me read this for you here. It says, to Radio Wasteland, two guys talking about records. That is our podcast, if you haven't checked it out. So it's somebody local because they came in, somebody who watches the podcast. Then it goes on to say, as envisioned by cartoonist Robert Crumb a long time ago. Inside the envelope was a framed picture of a Robert Crumb cartoon. Let me call that right up in here. Kind of hinting at two guys talking about records. One of the guys, who I'm assuming is going to look a little like Steve, says, oh, hey, what do you know? Pot Liquor Blues by L. Watson. And the other guy, who looks a little like me, unfortunately, says, oh, boy, that's a really great record. So some anonymous folks stopped on by, tossed that in the doorway as a little gift. We'll get that hung up on the wall. Thank you to whoever that was that did that. You can let me know otherwise if you'd like, but very entertaining, and it's always neat to see a Robert Crumb cartoon dealing with the records. So we'll find a good spot to hang that up here in the store. But again, thank you very much, as well as for the little air of mystery that goes into that as well. Not sure who, but I've got a couple of ideas, but we'll see. Let's see, a couple more quick hellos to kick in here. Let's see. Mr. Carlson there, speaking of the devil there, good morning. Time to go put on thick socks. Yeah, it's got to be a little chilly out that way too, I hear as well. And John, good morning from a cool Illinois as well. Thank you, sir, for hanging out with us here today. So yeah, tons of fun. Speaking of the podcast and speaking of our good friend Steve, since I got that called up, podcast is still going strong. Two guys talking about records. You can find that on Spotify, iHeart, Apple Music, anywhere you get a podcast, and it is on our YouTube channel right here on this here old YouTube channel as well. So again, make sure you're hitting that subscribe button after the fact, and you'll know when we put new episodes. It'll go up tomorrow night. This week, Steve and I are talking about AM Gold, the music of AM radio from the 60s and especially the 70s. That could be a fun one as well. So check that out on our podcast. Okay, let's see here. A couple of new releases. I did mention, too, that I thought things were back on track, and the one supplier we have that usually runs behind showed up on time. The other supplier, who always shows up on time, ran late, so I didn't get a shipment of vinyl until yesterday afternoon on the new stuff. It didn't make the vinyl drop video. We had a bunch of other stuff in there as well, but let me cover just a few of the things. Here we are again, mid-January. We're doing our best to keep up with the Start Your Ear Off Right stuff from Rhino. I'll get to that in a second, but there is one item of note wanted to kick in. New release, Vince Guaraldi. They keep kicking out some of the Charlie Brown stuff. This one's got a nifty little OBI on the side as well. This is indie exclusive on Heartburn Red vinyl. And you can't quite see it, but it's Be My Valentine, Charlie Brown, the soundtrack from Vince Guaraldi. A single LP, lots of cool stuff on here, bonus stuff that I guess they were billing this as the first time on vinyl of the full soundtrack with a lot of extra stuff as well. So they're putting a lot of this out. I do have 2 copies of this in. I do have some more copies coming. They tend to run out. I know that there's a couple of orders you guys have talked about. Dan, I think you're one there, but I do have those. We'll have those ready for you guys down the line as well. But in the meantime, I do have 2 copies of the Be My Valentine Charlie Brown in the store for this weekend. Original soundtrack recording, 50th anniversary extended edition on red vinyl, 33 1/3. So it's all good. And again, I'll have more of those. Now, the Start Your Ear Off Right stuff from Rhino. The only one that was released this past week was a Grateful Dead release. Those are gone. I do have more of those coming next week as well. I had a few in. Excuse me. And it was the Skull and Roses, a.k.a. Skull and Roses, Grateful Dead. And yeah, it's a very popular one. I thought I had enough, but they went fairly quickly, so I will get more of those next week. Delayed, but now in because of the shipping delay, we now have all 5 of the ZZ Top ones that were reissued. They're a little pricey. They come in at $40 a piece for a single LP. But much like that, the October Black Sabbath one, these are audiophile, super high quality from Rhino, 180 gram cut from the original analog master tapes. I think I mentioned that last week. But now we have all 5 of them. ZZ Top's first album, 1971. Rio Grande Mud as well in through there. Tres Sombres. This is one of my favorites, by the way. I've got 1 copy of this and more coming next week if we end up running out. Fandango and Tejas as well, going all the way up to 1976 on those. But yeah, all of those, $40 a piece on them, but they're that high quality audiophile vinyl, and they are in stock as of today. Speaking of high quality vinyl, went on a little binge when I was shopping for vinyl on our week off, and I made sure we got some music on vinyl reissues in. It's been a while since we've gone a little nuts on those, but they sound good. Got some good deals, and I'll hopefully pass them along. But music on vinyl represses in the store as of today. The Vaughan Brothers and the Family Style LP, Stevie Ray Vaughan. This one is a numbered copy out of 2000 on translucent blue vinyl. This particular one is number 523. 1 copy of that in the store. A couple from Alice Cooper, the MOV stuff. First up being Trash, not a numbered, but I think this is on translucent blue and red marbled vinyl. And then I've also got a copy of Hey Stupid. I said that right. Hey Stupid from Alice Cooper. Not numbered as well. This one, I believe, is just on black vinyl. So that's another MOV. And then finally, you guys know me by now. Sometimes I'll order up a copy just so I can play my copy in store since I want to make sure I'm selling it. But triple LP of The Clash, and The Clash hits back. I just wanted to play my Clash stuff yesterday and this weekend, so I'll be doing that. But yeah, lots of cool stuff. Pretty much every single Clash tune you could want on 3 LPs. Music on vinyl-wise, a little pricier because it's MOV and it's a 3 LP. But we do have that in stock and ready to go. Let's see here. One collectible went out yesterday. Well, there's a few good things in the vintage stuff. And I know I talked before about trying to utilize this to talk a little bit more about our high-end stuff for those of you who are watching from out of the area. Don't want you to be left out if you see something you really like. So one biggie went out yesterday, and this is the Cheerful Insanity of Giles, and Fripp. And the Fripp, of course, being Robert Fripp of King Crimson fame in this. This is from 1968, and it is a UK pressing of this album. Fairly rare. I forget what this goes for top end on Discogs. The vinyl on this one is absolutely beautiful. It's really nice shaped vinyl. However, the jacket has got some issues. This is from a larger collection I brought in a few years ago. And one section of that, a cat, unfortunately, decided to utilize some of the records as a scratching post on there. There's no order or anything on these. They just scratched them up, which is very unfortunate because this is a really valuable album. So moderately priced based on its overall value. But again, the vinyl on this thing is absolutely beautiful. The Cheerful Insanity of Giles, and Fripp, 1968 UK press. That is out and on the shelf. If you're curious on that, just contact me here at the store and we will talk about that. Let's see. Dan, yep, I got that saved for you. Not a problem there. And Mike, good morning. Good, Mike. Sorry, I'm a little late getting up on that. Good morning, Mike. The brain is waking up here as well. We had some technical difficulties this morning, but getting past that. I'm assuming you guys are getting this okay. So, all right, I'm looking at this. We're coming up on time. I'm going to go ahead, get the lava lamps percolating, get the turntable spinning, get the heater back on because I turned that off while I'm recording and broadcasting the live. But you guys do your best to stay warm through this weekend. I guess Go Lions is... I'm not a bandwagoner on that. I was a Packer fan for a long time, but we'll wish the best for the Lions kicking in here this weekend, and hopefully they'll do well and advance. I know I've got an uncle who is a diehard, just absolute Uncle Al, diehard Lions fan, and once in his life he's got to see this, and I hope that comes true for him and for all of you fans out there as well watching this. In the meantime, though, we got a record store rolling. It'll be nice and warm inside here. The turntable will be moving with some cool tunes. Yeah, I'm going to put the Clash back on today. So you can stop on by at 716 George Street. We're just north of downtown Midland, open from now until 6 p.m. today, and this is Saturday, unless you're not watching it live. Tomorrow, Sunday, from 12 noon until 4 p.m. Then we're off Monday and Tuesday, then back at it next Wednesday once again. So with that, I'm going to say off and onward. You guys have a good one, and we will talk to you next time from Radio Wasteland Records. Thanks so much for being here. You guys do rock. Mike tossed in a Go Lions on there as well. You folks have a good one.